Teaching is widely regarded as being one of the most stressful professions of any sector. Since the turn of the century, employment and job retention within schools has decreased by over 72.5%. With more and more need for teachers and staff in a rapidly growing country like the United Kingdom, I was interested in the question, why are so many teachers giving up the job? I've been surrounded by education my whole life, with my father being a teacher and then head teacher for 25 years before giving up the profession in 2016. In 2009, he helped to build and then run a new school within Colchester, which was the last job that he had as a teacher. I was exposed to the pressures that he faced throughout his time within education and can see that he was stressed, yet I had no idea why. I decided to interview him to find out this question and to gain an insight into the reasons behind such staggering figures of teaching rates. I also wanted to get the opinions of other teachers still within the profession, to discover their own struggles that they have faced themselves. I travelled back to my hometown of Braintree, to my high school, Notley High, to interview my previous tutor and physics teacher.
My name's Neal Bridgewater. I'm head of Key Stage 5 Science and also the deputy faculty leader at Notley High School and Braintree Sixth Form. I've been teaching for about 15 years, and before that I was for many years in senior management in industry, and before that in technical roles. So when it came to teaching, I decided to go into teaching science rather than business, which I potentially could have done. Before that, I'd been teaching karate for a number of years, so I thought I'd quite get on well with teaching. But before committing to that, I actually worked as a cover supervisor for a couple of terms at HRS in December, just to sort of get to grips with whether or not I actually liked children and teaching them. Yeah.
So, within teaching, has it been everything that you've expected it to be? Or has it been better or worse, or in terms of like stress?
Oh, stress. I mean, when you, I taught you, I don't particularly get stressed as a teacher, and I don't, because having worked in senior management in industry, the levels of stress are significantly higher. I think there's a number of factors that affect stress as a teacher. One, the biggest one is workload. You have to put self-imposed limits on the hours you're going to be prepared to work, and you have to prioritise accordingly. Some teachers find it very difficult to say enough's enough, I'm not going to work tonight, I'm not going to take work home because there's stuff to do. But if with that approach, you'd never get everything done. You could work every night till midnight and you still wouldn't get everything done. So you have to have a work-life balance. You have to decide that and you have to stick to it. I think there's an expectation that teachers would tend to do quite a bit more work than somebody in private sector would do for the same money, if you like. So they certainly get value for money out of most teachers. So there are expectations you do extracurricular stuff. I mean, I do it myself and I don't mind doing it. But again, I do it within my self-imposed constraints to maintain my work-life balance.
So did you always want to become a teacher?
No, I wouldn't say so. When I was sort of at school, I always wanted to do something with science, and that's what I did do when I left school. I went into analytical chemistry, and from there progressed through quality management and ultimately into senior management. Had I not gone into teaching, I would have found something else to do. I don't know what, but I sort of made that decision. I'd been working in that industry sector from the time I left school, and until I was in my 40s, and I knew I wanted to do something else. I didn't want to spend the rest of my life doing one thing, really.
Following my interview with my old teacher, it was clear to see that he did not live up to the expectation of what I perceived to be a stressed teacher. Wanting to get to the core of what was causing such statistics, I interviewed my dad to discover his own reasons behind leaving teaching and to discuss what he has done since.
My name's Craig. I'm an educational consultant, formerly a teacher and head teacher for approximately 25 years. Now I work full-time. I spread my time between being an educational consultant for a local authority in the east of England with being an independent school improvement consultant across the whole of the UK.
Do you enjoy this more than you enjoyed teaching?
It's a different type of work. It still involves me being in regular contact with schools, teachers, head teachers, pupils, governors, but it's a different type of role because I visit many different schools and settings, so my weeks are extremely varied. My work is much more varied. It consists of working face to face with leaders and teachers and governors, as well as working alongside pupils and teachers in classrooms.
Do you see a lot of stress within the teachers that you're working with in your new job?
Yes, I really do. I work in lots of different schools in different parts of the country, and what I still see is most teachers I work with are very committed, passionate professionals who want to do their best. But what I also see are a lot of very tired, very stressed, and teachers who are really questioning the job. You know, what is the job? What is this? What the job entails? What's the point of what we're doing? So I think a lot of teachers are rightly questioning the point of what they're doing, and really starting to give a lot more thought to whether this is a profession and a career that they want to be in and that they want to stay in for the long haul. And I understand that from all of the pressures and the expectations that are placed upon them, and some of the bureaucracy, some of the some of the stresses that are imposed on them by leaders, head teachers, parents, sometimes governors, sometimes other external sources, that I do think are unhealthy and are contributing towards significant numbers of people leaving the profession. Mentally, I found it very hard, if not impossible, to separate the job from my life. So a lot of my waking day was spent thinking about the job, thinking about the issues that were presented through the job, thinking about what I was going to do next. And so that weight of pressure of thinking all the time, that mental pressure of thinking all the time about what I was doing, became a great pressure and a factor for why I wanted to stop and do something different.
Investigating this topic has helped me get to the core of why so much pressure is felt on teachers, and gaining opinions from both sides of the stress has helped me to compare the two.
Whatever job I've done, wherever I've taught, I've always had this sense of I want to do a really good job, and I don't want to let anybody down, I don't want to let myself down. So I've always worked very, very hard, because I don't ever want to feel that sense of I didn't do a good job. You know, if ever I've been somewhere and felt I've not done a good job, and you only feel that in yourself, it's not because people are saying to you you're doing a bad job. Nobody's ever said that to me. But you know it in yourself. I've always dreaded that and thought I never want to be in that position where somebody's saying to me, you're not doing a good job. Somebody could do it better than you. I developed a thicker skin while I was a head teacher. I had to, just out, for self-defence really. If you haven't got a thick skin, you're going to crumble very quickly as a head. Of course. You're taking flack all the time from people. But what I ended up doing was, because you artificially develop this coping mechanism, you end up almost becoming somebody you're not. Your personality changes, because it has to accommodate the job. And I hated the fact that I couldn't be myself. I hated the fact I was having conversations with people that didn't feel natural. You know, my personality is always that I want to work with people and be friendly with people and work collaboratively with them, because that's me. And I worked out that you just can't work like that with everybody. You can't. Some people you can do that with, and they are brilliant, and they will work with you and give you everything and work extremely hard, and other people don't. And you have to be quite tough with those people, and I found that really hard when I had to be really blunt with people and say, I'm sorry, but you're not doing your job properly. Absolutely. And I can't have that. Yeah. And it's my job to make sure you do your job, and if you can't do your job, then we need to have a conversation about whether this is the right. And I hated that. Yeah. Because these are people's lives.
Absolutely. Overall, I felt sorry for the ways in which my dad left the profession. However, I feel that from his optimism, it's clear to see that he feels that he ultimately made the right decision.
That's why I couldn't keep doing the job, because I worried about it all the time. All the time. Like, last thing before I went to bed, first thing when I woke up in the morning, you know, as Mum said, we'd be out shopping or whatever, and she'd be talking to me, and I wasn't even in that place to listen. I was thinking about the parent at school who I've got to face on Monday morning, or the member of staff that's off sick, or whatever it was. And it's not a healthy place to be, where you've got something in your life that's dominating your thoughts. It's not healthy.
No, absolutely.
In any shape or form. So that's why I sat down with I've been talking to Mum about it for quite a few months, and in the end I said to Mum, I've got to stop, and I'm going to stop, and I know you're worried about money, and you know, we've got a mortgage to pay, and we've got you and Laura, we've got things that we want to do, cars to run, and I just said, but the trouble is, if I keep going and I become unwell, I can't earn any money anyway. So, you know, we took that kind of calculated risk, and it's worked out all right.